There's always been a negative connotation about being from the wrong side of the tracks. If you lived on the wrong side of the tracks, or if you owned a home on the wrong side of the tracks, it was tough going. This is a story about a neighborhood in Vancouver, Washington, that's been on the wrong side of the tracks for over a century. It's hard to see, but just beyond those yellow trucks over there are hundreds of homes, thousands of residents, in a forgotten, underserved community called Fruit Valley. But this is a good story. As its name implies, Fruit Valley once had plenty of fruit orchards, and a few still remain. But today, Fruit Valley is an area surrounded by industry, shipyards, commercial businesses, the Port of Vancouver, and the railroads. This is where the phrase "the wrong side of the tracks" comes in. You see, back in the day, when steam locomotives were common, the prevailing winds would blow all the smoke, soot, and dirt from their wood or coal-fired steam engines onto one side of the tracks, making the area less desirable to live in. And in Vancouver, Washington, that was usually the west side of the tracks, the Fruit Valley side, as winds funneled down the Columbia River from the east to the west. Industry and commercial businesses flourished, since it was next door to the port. But eventually, many Fruit Valley orchards were plowed under for government housing for shipyard workers, as the U.S. needed to build more ships for World War II. After the war, the Fruit Valley neighborhood stalled as shipbuilding dried up, and the small, proud little homes turned into rentals. And in 1948, a flood hit the area very hard. Investment in communities on the wrong side of the tracks fell behind neighborhoods on the right side of the tracks. After the shipyards closed, it ended up affecting everything from jobs, income, crime, schools, parks, healthcare, banks, grocery stores. The Fruit Valley school enrollment fell and was in danger of being closed. In fact, Fruit Valley had become a food desert. If you needed to go to the grocery store, it was across the tracks, miles away. And if you didn't have a car, it was a long bus ride and a longer walk from the bus stop. A trip to the grocery store could take hours. Fruit Valley had become even more isolated from the rest of Vancouver by the railroad tracks. But Fruit Valley turned a corner in 2002. The old Fruit Valley School, built back in 1944 for the children of all the shipyard workers, was finally demolished, and a new Fruit Valley Community Learning Center and School opened. The new school began to kickstart a sense of pride in the Fruit Valley neighborhood, and that surge of neighborhood pride brings us to this place, Fruit Valley Village. Although there had been a little story here since the 1930s, it had been in rough shape for years, and it was ready for a makeover. So this little property was redeveloped as a small refuge to Fruit Valley's food desert by Don Rhodes and his company, the Covenience Group. They developed this property with the neighborhood in mind. We decided to develop the property focused on the Fruit Valley community, and we recruited community partners who have an interest in the Fruit Valley population. In fact, every tenant has a purpose to serve the underserved residents of Fruit Valley. There's the Lighthouse Community Credit Union, a financial institution that helps residents who have had credit challenges in the past or are completely new to banking, helping those who've never had a credit or a debit card, a bank account, or have ever even balanced a checkbook. Another tenant is the Lighthouse Resource Center. They provide classes and one-on-one counseling to help residents plan a roadmap to financial recovery. The Resource Center offers assistance to residents seeking better employment, repairing bruised credit, even how to buy a first home. Solutions to find ways around generational poverty barriers. Then there's the Community Kitchen. This storefront provides a food bank with fresh produce, dairy products, and other nutritious and delicious foods. But more than just free food, the Community Kitchen offers nutrition classes, like how to grow your own garden, cooking healthy meals, and there's even access to a 1,200 square foot professional teaching kitchen where cooking classes are taught and aspiring chefs can test, create, and evaluate new food items. A separate community event space is also available for meetings, parties, or corporate events where team building and even team cooking can be featured. The space is big enough for full presentations, entertainment, catering, and a Northwest-themed beer and wine bar. Finally, Fruit Valley Village is anchored by the Minute Mart, owned by Don Rhodes Convenience Group. This store is more like a superette and less like a convenience store. The muted lighting and gallery paint design welcome customers with a bold new look. And they can choose from fresh fruit and vegetables or ready-made grab-and-go deli items like fresh chicken or buttermilk biscuits with mashed potatoes and gravy. There are great wines available in every price range, a massive walk-in beer cooler holding an amazing selection of beers with the inside temperature proudly displayed outside, even a bait and tackle department. Healthy snacks, fresh produce, ready-to-eat items, everyday groceries, dairy, beer, wine, and a big variety of hot coffee choices. It's not a substitute for a full-blown grocery store, but it has just about everything one could need in an area still trying to evolve with retail services. According to Don Rhodes, we tried to provide an oasis for the community. We took a 1968 store, gutted it, added retail space, remodeled it, and brought in more partners to help the community. "This is my backyard," said Rhodes, who's been a part of this community for more than 50 years. "I have an obligation to give back, to provide a mechanism for residents to stay, to prosper, to evolve, and to enrich themselves. This is how I can give back, and also have a vested interest in moving forward." Providing badly needed services in an underserved community, creating jobs with a small business, and kickstarting the entrepreneurial spirit with financial partners, food assistance, and culinary learning opportunities. Times have surely changed. This is not the age of the Industrial Revolution anymore. And that means with smart forward thinking, there doesn't have to be any wrong side of the tracks. That's the story of Fruit Valley Village, reinventing a forgotten neighborhood into an elegant solution oasis of opportunity.